Hello and welcome. This is Aufhören der Podcast. My name is Sophia Thome and I am a spiritual engineer and a life coach and your host for this show. Today someone else is here with me and it's Eva Kaczor. Eva Kaczor is the founder of Psychedelic Breath. She's a purpose coach, a conscious entrepreneur, and she shares her gift all over the globe. She has developed a breathing method called Psychedelic Breath, and we're gonna talk in this conversation about how did she do it, like how did she discover it, how did it came to her, how did she build up this business. And also you will maybe find out a little bit more how you can dare to express all of your interests and all of your personality traits also in your career. She shares her personal strategy that, spoiler, it's a lot more about feeling and trusting than boring business from the books. We also talk about purpose. She has created a formula to describe purpose. And I have some critical questions about purpose. What does that mean, actually? We talk a bit about her psychedelic breath teacher training. And now the podcast is about to start, and I would like to ask you to get ready, open your heart, open your mind, find a comfortable seat. This is not the best episode to listen to while you are in the car, maybe, because you really need to be there, you need to be alert. There's a lot of wisdom being shared, and also in the beginning I have a little surprise for you, because it's not just gonna be us talking and you listening, but you can also participate. So thank you so much for being here from my heart. Thank you for taking the time for yourself, for me, and also for Eva. And now enjoy listening.
Oh God, I just noticed I said everything in German and we said that we're going to record it in English. All right. So let's do it again in English. Welcome, 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 Eva Kaczor. I'm so happy to receive this wonderful goddess in my podcast. What else did I say? I said that you are very busy, which is amazing, and you're going to tell us what you are busy with in a while. But before that, I want to let everybody know that this interview today is going to be 40 minutes, and that's it. Then we have an alarm ringing, and I let you go to do whatever you need to do. Okay. So for this episode, I intuitively thought it would be nice that before we start talking and come with all the big words and all the nice questions and answers, let's experience Eva's brand, Eva's product. Let's experience maybe also ourselves. You are so generous to guide us through something from your method, Psychedelic Breath. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm super excited. I would like to give the first moments now to you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So I'm excited to be here, and let's make not too many words. I'm actually going to share with you the warm-up of Psychedelic Breath, not Psychedelic Breath itself, because that's a very strong and impactful practice. So I want to guide you into the warm-up. What does it mean? It's not just a warm-up, it's a breathing technique where you can switch your brain waves from a usual high frequent beta, where we are trying to figure out how life is really functioning and planning and analyzing and structuring and foreseeing, into a brainwave which is called alpha. And alpha is so beautiful because it not only allows you to feel more relaxed, it also allows you to be really creative from this relaxed state. So the beauty around this, on top of this, is that it goes quite fast. So we can use quite fast to become rather slow and therefore more impactful if it comes to hear into our inner voice and take this out into the world. So this was my little intro for this beautiful breathing technique that is called box breathing. And I invite us to do it, practice. Let's close our eyes and If you're hearing or listening to Sophia's podcast, maybe find a place to sit. And then allow the body to become a little bit more heavy indeed, and allow the sit bones to ground into the earth. Feel what your shoulders are doing. And then soften them. We're going to bring in an inhale as you breathe all the way down into your belly. And then you exhale from the belly and you soften the belly in. Guiding an inhale deep down into your belly. You're exhaling to soften the belly and maybe relax your shoulders just a little bit more. You inhale, you take the belly out, out, out. You exhale and the belly is sinking in, the seat becomes heavier. Now slowly take an inhale up your spine as you're starting from the belly. Take the breath up, open the chest, then use your mouth for the exhale and do a sound to completely empty. Inhale now to belly. Inhale to the side of your ribs. Inhale, opening up the chest. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale belly. Inhale ribs. Inhale heart space. Hold it. Breathe out through the mouth. Going empty, empty, empty from here. Inhale to belly. Inhale, side of your rib cage is expanding, and then inhale to the chest and inhale just a little bit higher to throat. Hold that breath for just 2 seconds. And then breathe it out through your mouth. As you're breathing out, relax the spine, soften the body, soften the belly, and then keep that breath out without squeezing. Stay. 2, 1, inhale, belly. Inhale, ribs. Listen, inhale, upper back. Inhale, stretch the chest open, keep it inside. We're counting 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out through your mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, stay empty. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay empty. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Breathe in on 4. Open. 3. Take it higher. 2. All the way up. Keep it. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay empty. Soften. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a natural inhale. And a sense of great grounding on your exhale. When you're ready, make contact with your eyes and eyelids. And then slowly, if you like, open your eyes again. This was such a good idea, Sophia. I have arrived.
That was wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of water. Maybe everybody.
Cheers.
The breath is so magical. I love working with the breath.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you find this?
It actually has a twofold story, and one part of the story is it actually found me. So psychedelic breath, which is that would come now, a very strong transformative breathing technique in combination with electronic music and artists, came to me in a meditation. I was meditating on my favorite question in the world that I'm also asking all my purpose coaching clients. What's my next true step is that question. And the emphasis is on true. So what's true for me, where I'm taking this life, how do I want to live? How and what do I want to create? let me say, what do I want to create? Because the how usually falls into place once you start connecting with what you want. And that's how psychedelic breath came into my life. And with all that, breathing has been in my life for 40, no, 30 years. Because when I was a teenager, they discovered that I have scoliosis, which is the spine is more twisted and rotated than usual. And I had to wear a corset, and it was quite traumatic, I must say, because it hurts and you see it on the, it was an old version, so you could see it underneath your t-shirts. And when you're 13 years old, that's not what you really want to show off. But in that time, I learned a technique, a physiotherapy technique where you could use your breathing to twist your spine. And so I just remembered that actually half a year ago, that was my first encounter with breathing. And I was so good that they always wanted to take me as a model, which is not nice, in a medicinal congress. So I said, no, I don't want to be like watched by doctors and physiotherapists, like half naked. And I said no back then, but my love for stages was already there in a way. So I could learn to shift my spine by breathing. And I studied yoga. So after my psychology studies and a couple of different careers, I decided to go the path of yoga, and pranayama is part of it. It's a very important part of yoga. And there was a base, but I made it truly mine. And mine, I mean, I love to teach it because it resonates with what I believe in, while adding artists, electronic music, beauty, bringing it to the music scene, then to the technology scene, bringing it into scenes that maybe would never go to a pranayama class. Maybe now, yes. Yeah. So this is how that came to me again, maybe 3 years ago.
That's wonderful. This is also something that I find really remarkable about you, just like seeing you from the outside, that I think I witness how you combine so many different things. And I feel like I know you better because whatever you are selling is you, and it's all of you. And you're not cutting away a piece of your arm and take only the arm to the office and to your work, and the rest needs to stay in the closet at home. So really beautiful that you do this. And I try to do this myself, but what I sometimes feel is I feel it's hard to dare to be all of myself everywhere, also in the workplace, to not leave kind of the love for electronic music out, because I have this voice in the back of my mind that tells me, no, that's unprofessional. No one will take you seriously. And I believe, or I hope, that I'm not alone with this. I hope that other people are also like struggling to really fully be themselves and embrace all of the parts. So my question is, how did you do it? What can you tell me? What would maybe help me?
I want to bring in, because it's not like I stopped struggling to figure out what should be on my website or not. What you mentioned is something beautiful, to have such a broad range of things to share from my own interest and personality in life. Makes it authentic. Yes, it's totally authentic. But it's sometimes hard if you want to define like a strategy or a business. And that's why I stopped defining strategies for anything I'm doing. Even so, I used to work 2 years as a very successful brand strategist, where I could do this for everyone else, but I realized I can't do this for me. So I want to bring in the importance of feeling. And my female side suffered, because feeling and female is for me really closely connected, not in a gender thing, just as a quality. And my female side suffered a lot because I was so fucking alpha male for many years that I overran and overdid myself in terms of performance, in terms of tempo, in terms of too many things at once. And that's what I think now many people know, that I had a burnout that actually, of course, was a stepping stone to healing more than just the adrenals, but it also was something as a result, me trying to figure out what do I really want to share, and trying to do all of those fields I'm interested in at once. So what I want to say, feelings. So in my latest coaching yesterday, we talked about resistance, Widerstand. And she asked me, how do I know if that resistance against something, for example, to leave her job or not, if you talk about aufhören, how do I know, is it coming from me, or is it coming from somewhere else, from my subconscious Unterbewusstsein, or where is it coming from? How do I make this difference? And we talked about the importance of resistance. So if you feel resistance, that actually helped me to ask, what is this resistance? Where is it coming from? What does it mean? If I start to resist something, is it the end? Or is this just me not trusting the process, or stopping too early, because I was educated to never stop, to go and push through no matter what. And when I was, I think, 11 years old, I remember the first time I said, no, thank you, mommy, I'm out. But I still kept going quite a while with that idea. You just can't leave. You don't leave things, you successfully go through them. So Widerstand, resistance, became one of the major emotions for myself, to take a moment, stop and ask, where is it coming from? Old stories? Past? Or is it relevant for now, and why is it here? And Widerstand became my decision-making tool. If I should leave or stay, or not even begin. Right now I have a lot of opportunities coming from me, amazing people, amazing mentors, amazing ideas. If it's not 100% hell yes, and there's lightness, I say no. And this is connected with the Widerstand, because you ask me how I do it day by day with feeling into it. And Psychedelic Breath became so beautiful and successful, I think, because it was very light from the beginning. And yes, there's business side around it, and I'm working that shit hard. Also realizing I need support now, from experts in different fields. But teaching, for example, is pure lightness for me. So I measure things if they are fruitful and beautiful for me, and therefore for others, because then I can share them fully, if it feels light or not. And that's how I do it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it also gives the allowance that things can feel light, or something valuable, something you're good at. You don't need to struggle to be good.
Yeah, and it's totally okay to struggle, because half of my days are also in this. It's a mental struggle I'm going, and then often shows in my body. So I have this one very closely. It's a fast dialogue we're having, and I feel the struggle it's also something you can look at. Why are you struggling? Actually, what is your expectation about yourself that you're trying to hunt, but maybe it's not even what you really want to do? And why shouldn't it be allowed? And I find COVID taught us this. COVID really supported me in taking it day by day. And if I start to get overwhelmed, I drop the thought. It's not always successful, by the way. I try to drop that I should be doing this and this and this today. If it's not possible, I try to say, no, just even forget it. We have such a panic to try to forget things. We not forget, it's written down there and you're going to do it another day. But to allow yourself to drop things just for a day, and you will feel lighter and you have more capacity to work on the things that matter now. And that's a very intuitive strategy, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really, I'm not a master in this, but this is how my vision, how I want to work more and more and more.
Oh, that's amazing. This was also the word that was coming for me, that your strategy is intuition. And I think it's also so closely connected with trust, right? Because you have no planned things written down with proven things that other people also said, yes, that's definitely going to work. All you have is just that whatever you feel guides you to the direction where you need to go.
Yeah, but that's the treasure too. That's exactly what you're saying, Sophia, and it's the treasure, because if there's only one house where it come from, if you're going as an entrepreneur with your purpose-driven task or gift or service, and I want to share something that always snatches me out if I start to do it too much from here. So right now I'm getting a question like, what's your target group? I'm like, what the heck? I'm sharing this and I have very diverse people. Yes, there's the music scene people. Yes, they're entrepreneurs. Yes, they're founders, but they're also what we then should call millennials. Yeah, so they are names, and if I think about it, I could maybe pick some, but if I get too much into that, I lose actually the feeling for the profoundness of it, for the content almost, for what I want to share. And what I ask then is, how can I serve? Wie kann ich dienen? Yeah. And my boyfriend helped me to find that sentence. It's a very old spiritual sentence. Yeah, because I created by now a formula finally for purpose. What's purpose? Because people are always like, you do purpose coaching. It's such a big word. I'm like, yeah, for sure. You want to live small or big, you know? I mean, you could say purpose, or how do you want to live? So I created a formula and I say now purpose equals ist gleich discovering who you are, because it's a true discovery. You have this insight. You mostly need to rediscover that. Discover who you are, and then share this to be in service for others, and that creates fulfillment. Mm-hmm. We need the social component. We need to share to feel fulfilled. Mm. And so also here, if you discover who you are, if you're in this stage, and this never ends, I would not say you're done with 40. It depends so much on how you live. Then you're in this quest, and in this quest, when you're adding how can I serve, even that quest of who you are gets easier, because you somehow intuitively know how you can serve humans or animals or plants, or yeah, it doesn't need to be a profession. First, maybe.
Oh, so wonderful to hear you speaking. It's so dense. Like our conversation is really like, oh my God, so many things you're saying. And I want to ask like one question about purpose that I sometimes have in my mind. That's a bit more like, yeah, I just want to get it out. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm ready to fail. And I want to hear your perspective on this. Yeah. First, what was it that I thought when you were just talking?
Is it a definition about purpose, or?
No, it was about the target customer, you know. Are you describing it? What's actually more important than having a target customer in your mind is to be connected to the feeling of what you're giving, so you can feel it yourself, so you are connected to the energy that is created, that connects then everybody to each other. Is it more important for you to stay close to psychedelic breath with your heart, rather than staying close to the target customer avatar with your brain?
Yes and no. I mean, let's face it, if you take things further and you want to support more people on the planet with that method and practice and ritual, an eye-opening conversation with your soul, I would say, then you need communication around that topic. Yes, and you need channels for that, and you need a certain way to do that. And we are ready, of course, you know, like if we say it's a global method, it's a global method. It does not need, it doesn't have cultural boundaries, but of course there are different parts of society, the way we reach each other, we all have our channels that might be different. So, and I'm super aware that when we do this more strategically, then it still can be done with love. But to answer your question, when I'm teaching that shit, I forget everything. So I go into the channel mode, and that's what fulfills me so much, because in the same time I'm sharing this and supporting others to find their calling, to explore who they are. So that's the most fulfilling part of me. For me is when I teach psychedelic breath, also in my teacher trainings, I teach the method and I see them growing with it. I go in that mode where I don't want to use the word channel because I don't feel so much about it, but it's more like it's a flow. It's something, it's also exhausting. It's not like, you know, I'm not like after 4 days of teacher training, I'm like, yay, I'm like dead. But it's coming, it's on, it's just there. And I don't even think about any target customers or so. If it comes to marketing, it's good to actually realize who is with you. Because I know from my big gigs also, you know, if I have a big psychedelic breath gig had pre-COVID on Web Summit in Lisbon, or in the Mailand Design Week, or at Wanderlust Festival with a couple of thousand people, it's hard to tell who is there. You can say a little bit by the field you're in, no? Music or technology or spirituality, but it's hard to say is really there. So actually in the whole marketing now exploration, it's getting interesting to know, because we can start to understand more who is there. Yeah, so I think both is important. So if you're thinking strategically marketing, it's good to know for whom this has relevance, who is relevant. But when I teach it, I don't fucking care. I just want to share that. And I know the people who are there to take it in. Every Wednesday, we have like a very amazing live stream with it. It works really, really well. This is all what counts in this moment. But the awareness, how do people get to know about the method? It does make sense to think about who is here, for whom is this interesting?
I love you.
Who wants to go that step?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your questions. I think you have really good questions. I'm going to make a summary with like all your powerful questions. Who is with me? I think it's maybe also for some conscious entrepreneurs, and I feel that there's often resistance to business stuff, nah? It's a nicer question to ask who is with me rather than in which milieu is my core customer. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so now I want to talk about purpose. Yeah. I don't know what my purpose is. I think I don't know it, but also I don't care too much. I feel like purpose is such a big deal, and I'm wondering like why are we making such a big thing out of it? Or like I feel for everyone, but I feel like people are desperate because they don't know what their purpose is, and I'm like, what's the matter? Just find something you like, find something you love, and do that. And if you love what you do, does it matter if this is your purpose now, or if you find your purpose next year and now then you spend 1 year doing something else that's fulfilling? Yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's a super important question. You know, there is not one purpose. I mean, it only becomes abstract and strange if you think about it, about one thing to achieve. That's why I like the discovery word so much. And that you, Sophia, you actually just said it. If you discover who you are, and let's face it, we are born in a certain way. We have a DNA. We have personality traits. Like in my coachings, I'm helping people to understand who they are in a personality way, because I can read that on an energetic level. I can tell how you are. I can just tell you in usually 5 minutes. And then there's a good base, because what we actually need somehow is confirmation in how we are or who we are. Confirmation in the sense that we can be allowed to release things that we are not. And if you look at life, the first couple of years to try to figure out how to get love, basically, as a child and as humans in general, we need love and appreciation from the closest around us. And that's how we start to establish certain behavioral patterns. And later on, we building beliefs, Glaubenssätze about the world, life, love, health, career, callings, purpose. We're starting to build beliefs, and these beliefs are not just coming from our purest essence, they're coming from socialization, education, and where the love is, from reward or punishment. So it's a very basic model, and you can explain it on a psychological level really well as well. You can also explain it on a spiritual level and say your soul desires to experience certain tasks to solve a couple of problems in this life. Or not problems, revelations to become awakened. So there's a lot of things going on in the discovery process. I have a lot of young 21s in my 20-somethings in my purpose coaching. And this is a generation right now, they're like, hey, stop, wait a minute. Okay, now master, bachelor, master, super short, no? Like when I studied psychology, it was 7 years or you die, like in or you're out. Now you do these shorter things and you have more time to ask, and also a huge awareness already through all the media they have access to and the way consciousness is going on in the world, to ask, okay, who am I really? And what is my life? Why am I here? So this question for purpose means in the end, who are you really? And how can you live you to be the best version of you, to share this with the idea to feel fulfilled with that, because you can discover you and share it. And yesterday someone asked me in the coaching, if isn't that egoistic, or isn't that self-realization? What does it actually make sense? You can really ask, just put another word, is how do you want to live? And I agree with you, many people don't have an answer. And this is good to get to realize. If you don't have an answer, how do you want to live? And with life is pretty big, no? There are all dimensions in there. And what you just said, Sophia, was, if I do this 1 year and it feels good, perfect. You know, it doesn't need to have a name and then this is it for the rest of your life, or it doesn't need to be this one profession that's going to be this is really an old model, no? It's more about exploring where your frequency gets up. And then can you ask why actually? Why is that? Why are we all so different? Also, what excites us, or where we can show up and feel whole? Because we can. And there's, for example, some humans bring this out in us and some not, no? And some environments do. Mexico always did the job for me. Yeah, I discovered more about myself in Mexico, but I also discovered a lot in Germany, where I felt things I did not want to live. I would say it in this order. I know it was a long answer.
No, but I'm already excited for the editing, because I think this is definitely a podcast you can also re-listen, because there's so much wisdom in what you say, and it's like super dense, and I need to be there. I cannot listen with one ear. Like, I don't want to miss like one word that you're saying. And yeah, so you mentioned a bit in the talk before. We talked a bit about your teacher training, which is also amazing, like from a business perspective. You know, when I saw that you are now offering teacher trainings, I was like, yes, she's doing it. Like, because I follow your business since a while, and it's like super nice to see. And I was like, yeah, next step. And yeah, so first of all, how did it come to you with the teacher training? I guess the answer is it was lightness. You were driven there because it naturally happened and it felt good. And
you know, I hate to say it, but it's true. And the thing is, yeah, in my life, I'm 42, so I had a couple of decades. Most of them were really exhausting. I mean, adrenal exhaustion, neben die Erschöpfung. It was so much struggle. It was so much trying to figure it out. Who am I? But it also was always my question. Who am I? It always was my question. When I was 5-year-old, I asked that to my mom. You know, this was crazy. So I was really hard on myself over decades. And I was really good in leaving stuff. So I was really trusting when it was almost easier for me to leave a job than, no, I also love to get one because I like that winning moment, I must say. And I like jobs and careers that did not exist so much in Germany. So it was an open field. It was rich. It was interesting. All the things I did, and also founding my own magazines came out of curiosity for artists, for collectors, for that art scene. How is it working? How are the souls in there? So with the teacher training, it was quite natural because I had global gigs and people started asking, please, is there another facilitator in my city? I want to keep practicing psychedelic breath especially. And I said, no, so I need to make some. Right. And these were also those people who were interested. Like in the last one, we had 33 people and there were, I think, 7 countries. And there would have been more if COVID would have not have be really hard on this topic. So for the next teacher training, it's the same. Like we're going to be less. We're going to be 22 people because we're going to have a retreat house. We have an online training module, and then we go all in to retreat together. And my deepest desire is to make you, whoever is listening, teachers. And it's like a master coaching what happens in there. And so it came to me. And I have a partner in this, Susan. She's my creative partner, and she does a lot of the physical organization. So yeah, this came to me.
That's wonderful. You deserve it, and it's so nice to.
Right.
And it's also it's nice.
And you know, it
Why I wanted to have you here, and I wanna have you tell your story, because I want other people to hear that yes, it is possible that things are light, and yeah.
and it's, I think it part of this is that, you know, when you try to push things too much, I did this so often. You feel this while you're pushing. You feel you're pushing. And maybe I'm not saying you're pushing others, you're pushing yourself. I mean, you feel you're pushing yourself, something is incorrect in the equation. And one that might be, and I call it divine timing. It isn't the time yet. And it's totally okay. It doesn't mean it's gone. Or you're pushing in a direction that is slightly not the one you should go. Yeah. I always so, but you can have a knowing that you will go. So that knowing, the principle I'm working with is like, I always knew I would be on stages with a microphone. I knew, I had no idea with what, but I knew I loved that. I'm a fifth chakra personality. I need to speak and guide and coach and share. That's my calling. It's inbuilt. Yeah. If you're a heart chakra, you need to support. You love to give. You love to have many people in your life where you can share the love you're holding for them. Yeah. So it'd be different in the ways, and that's what I mean by knowing. If you get to know yourself, you know the things you want to call in, you want to do and create. And then it's a bit of timing and finding the right content. And why not give this a bit of time and trying things out, as you're doing too, no? Trying things out is never, ever, ever a failure if you decide to leave at one point. It's the opposite. Because everything I tried out was so worth it and I wanted it. Yeah. So if you find yourself pushing too much, you're pushing yourself too much, something is maybe not right.
Mm-hmm.
And other things are waiting for you.
Yeah. I love also what you say with the time, that one of my teachers, she told me this once, that when you cannot make a decision, it could be that it's not the time to make the decision.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do you do then? Brings us back to our thing we had a couple of minutes ago. Allow yourself to drop the thought. It's somehow very important to make this decision, because I always say to my clients, you have an answer, and they're like, no. I'm like, well, okay. You know, there's no answer right now, so let's drop it.
What's the problem? Yeah.
Yeah. And then things will shift and change it. But it's really about trying to find an answer for something that isn't there yet. You won't get an answer, at least not from here. But you can open yourself and receive an idea.
The moment you accept that you are the one not having an answer right now, that makes you open to receiving it, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. Yeah.
I also want to say that people around you might be messengers.
Mm-hmm.
So I give you an example. I did my Transform Your Summer online program, and I was like, how do I call it? How do I call it? You know, I opened my Instagram and there was a friend and he had posted a picture and it says Transform Your Summer. I'm like, yay! You know, it wasn't forbidden. It wasn't his program or anything. It was just a picture with that on it. So people are messengers, and it's sometimes overhearing a conversation where you're like, oh, this resonates with me, this word, this sentence, being over there, this style, where they're like signs on your way. Like when I did my logo for Eva Kaczor and Psychedelic Breath, I had a beautiful graphic designer. She came into my class once, and then she drew this logo, and she was really drawing thing in one sketch, and I knew which colors she would use. Because it was already, I look around in my apartment and there is my logo. Yeah, so it's around you. So connect with the things you love, color-wise, frequency-wise, location-wise. There's a lot of information about you. And from this is where you're building that, whatever it is.
Okay, so we're coming closer to the ringing here.
Yeah.
But I have 3 more questions. First, can you share a bit more what is happening in the Psychedelic Breath teacher training? It's more than you teaching 20 people how to breathe.
Well, the teacher training has many different parts, but one of them is the science of breath, what's behind breath anatomically, physiology, and neurochemistry. Then what's the effect and sensations of psychedelic breath? What does it do in the body? What does it do in the brain? What does it do in a spiritual level? Then we're talking about other breathwork schools to have an idea of what's out there, how they're all, working. We're talking about the sequencing, how to structure a class, an experience, how to bring in the music, how to hold space, all the things a great teacher needs to do to keep that space, how to bring you in as a very unique person. Like all my teachers from the last training became the unique teachers they are. None of them is the same. And that's my biggest intention, to get that voice out within you. And we're doing a lot of practicing, even already in the online training module. It's a weekend, end of February. We already make them teach, which worked really nice. So you actually already start to experiment a little bit with Zoom, because in this time we're living, and as it's a global pandemic, but also a global method, learning this. And then in the retreat, you're learning to teach in front of the whole group, in front of smaller groups, with a lot of feedback. And then you're going to practice. You have a buddy by your side, a friend from the teacher training where you can practice. And then you have a mentorship program with me as your coach to finish that thing. So it's like a weekend, then a week in a retreat, and then 6 practice classes for yourself and friends with me coaching. And that's it. So we really try to make it dense, but full of information and wisdom and my whole experience. And of course, we talk marketing and business, collaboration, working with DJs, also working pricing, I'm very clear in this. How you earn a living with that, how to not destroy the market. So there's a lot of, it's everything you need to start teaching and building a business out of this, if this is your desire.
Do you have, actually we don't have time to dive very deep in that, but I guess that maybe you have a good question, because you have so many good questions. Give us a good question around pricing and around knowing your worth and embodying your worth in your work, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I give you, I don't know if this is a question, but ask yourself, what's my value? And then for sure add taxes, not the other way around. Yeah, Mehrwertsteuer on top. What's my value? And then pick an intuitive number that came in first. Yeah. I would not do so much market research. If it helps you, do it. But in the yoga scene, you would be completely lost to do that. So breathwork is a bit a different thing. Ask yourself what you value, and you will realize if you start too low with your prices, it's so hard to rise them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my teacher trainees sign a contract where we have a range of prices. There's a great orientation. How much is a 101? How much are groups? How much are online classes? All affordable, it's not crazy, but there's a range of prices, and they pick within that range that fits their own feeling, what they can sell well. Yeah. Where they not need to hide behind it. And that's, I think I never had this in any of my teacher trainings. So ask yourself what's your value, and then add the taxes, for example. It's something that helped me a lot. And later on you will realize maybe you have to adjust a bit, because it depends on how much energy you're giving in there. Yeah, but sometimes if I go and see healers in Berlin, I usually walk out and tell them, raise your prices. You're good. Which I realized, and sometimes they only raise the prices on me. And I check their website, and it's still the other price. I'm like, not often, no, but I usually tell them, raise your prices. Please.
Yeah.
And you're always open if someone really, isn't there for it and has the fucking guts to ask, to still come and make an exchange or whatever. Hell yes. Yeah,
I love this. I also offer, because I benefited so much from scholarships.
Exactly.
I promised myself that I want to give this gift to other people, but people need to have the guts and stand there with their face, with their heart open. Tell me why. I'm happy to give.
Yeah, we're also gonna have scholarships in the next training. Right now, it was very difficult because we have to reduce the numbers so much.
Yeah.
For so much space around us in the house, for COVID, we needed a lot. We will have amazing space, so that's one. But I have the scholarships already in my heart for the next one.
So before I'm gonna leave the last few words to you, because that's like a little ritual that you can say what you have in your heart right now, what you think needs to be said still. I have the last question.
Mm-hmm.
The last question goes like this. What worked very well for you recently? Like what was like celebrate and enjoy a success with us right here, right now?
Yeah, I can. So recently, as I mentioned before, I had a lot of very good offers with collaborations and co-founding and opportunities to professionalize it and expand my business. And amazing humans, amazing. So good meetings. And I realized it could all work, but it wasn't 100%. It was 90%. So I declined them all. And it was difficult because I go, oh shit, I'm again alone. But it wasn't 100%. But I only do 100% feeling wise, yeah? Resonance. And then came 100% to me. And I can't say more of it now because it's still in the very first stages of the making and it's big. So it's just 100%. I only wanted to say this exists. Yeah. And I learned through the course of my life that if I say yes to something, and I did often, it wasn't 100%, it never worked. It was sometimes very personally hard to leave, or there was another founder, and it was ended up in a fight or disappointment. Not fight, but disappointment. So listen to your 100%. And before it's a no, thank you, but I love you. Yeah.
So these were your words already, I guess, no?
I guess, yes.
Thank you so much. Not only for these, but for all the words. I'm really deeply touched by this conversation, and I feel so blessed that you came here and shared with me and everyone listening. And yeah, I wish you really so much success. I'm so excited to see all the big things that are happening. Like I will be the one saying again, yes.
Thank you. I also wanted to say, and also for you listeners, that I really appreciated, Sophia, how you handled me, because I had to cancel several times. I'm not overworked. My head is spinning in many ways right now and many meetings. And you were so kind and so cool that I really, I did not feel so much ashamed as usually when I do this. It was more like I felt really welcome and honored. And that's a really great trait that will take you far. Because you're like this, but you're also pretty badass. It's a really cool combination.
Thank you.
How you are.
Chakra reading. Yeah, so thank you so much. Of course, everything will be linked in the show notes. The teacher training, I'm seriously considering taking it now, of course.
It would be a pleasure.
Yeah, for me too. And yeah, I hope that we see again in the future. For sure we will, in one or another way. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I think you really enjoyed this episode because you are still here. So thank you for spending all of these valuable minutes and moments with us. And what's left to say? I want to share with you that check out the show notes if you want to connect deeper with Eva or with her work or with me. Follow me on Instagram, send me a message. Eva is offering online courses at the moment for Psychedelic Breath and also for yoga and detox workout. I just checked it on her website, Psychedelic Breath, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. also she has something new at the moment that wasn't like, we didn't talk about it in the podcast, but I saw that now the Purpose Space membership is open for registration, and it's a 3-month journey, and it starts, guess what, the upcoming Monday, November 9th. So if you listen to this podcast when it got released, you are still lucky. I guess maybe you still can sign up if you want to. So if you have nothing to do, if you want to explore your purpose deeper with Eva, then go ahead and do that. Sign up, find yourself. The last thing that I would like to share with you is that I'd like you to share this episode with your community, with your people, with your friends, your co-workers, your parents, your community, the people around you, the people who you love and who are dear to your heart. And in this way you can not only spread Eva's wisdom, you can also support me in making this podcast available to a bigger audience, and you can support your friends. So, thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, night, whatever. I really appreciate your presence. I'm super grateful for you.